Hello everyone and welcome to your Advective weather update for April 3rd, 2023. Let's jump right into it. We already have blizzard warnings in place in the northern plains as well as winter storm warnings in the Rockies due to the potential for winter weather here, especially starting tomorrow. We have a tornado watch currently in place in the southern U.S. as well, given a slight risk of severe weather down there today, and a major severe weather episode is expected across the central United States tomorrow. Let's jump into the active pattern that we're going to be seeing, and again, a multi-day severe weather outbreak that begins today. However, today's pretty run-of-the-mill for spring. We're not seeing too much in regards to that severe weather today. However, tomorrow that gets more serious. A potent blizzard is expected to impact the northern plains with extreme blowing snow and snow accumulation. So that's expected as well. And again, more details on that soon, but tomorrow's the big day for that as well. And fire conditions are nearing extremely critical levels in the southern plains, and there may even need to be extremely critical fire risk issued by the Storm Prediction Center for tomorrow. So tomorrow's the big day for all three of these things, although today, Wednesday, and even stretching beyond, there is a possibility of some of this stuff lingering for a bit. So let's talk about the severe weather risk first. Today, a slight risk is in place for severe storms. Tomorrow, we have a moderate risk in place, and that is bimodal again. So we have a northern and southern moderate risk, level 4 out of 5. And then a slight risk, level 2 out of 5, for severe storms is in place Wednesday, although this will likely need to be upgraded by that time. Well, let's talk about what's going on today. Damaging winds and tornadoes are the primary threat today, especially within that slight risk area that includes the city of Tallahassee, Florida. All areas within a severe risk today, regardless of magnitude, should remain weather aware. However, this is not something that is out of the norm for springtime, so nothing crazy is expected, and it should be noted that the risk for severe storms stretching all the way from San Antonio to Dallas and near the Red River there in Texas, that is associated with the system that will bring our bigger risk of severe storms tomorrow. Let's talk about that. That is a level 4 out of 5 risk of severe storms tomorrow, and that is driven exclusively by tornado potential. There's another bimodal event in place here, and all areas within the slight risk or higher should be paying attention to this, as severe storms will be ongoing all day, including the overnight hours. So please have multiple ways to get weather alerts. If you are near Des Moines, Iowa, if you're in Chicago, if you're in Springfield, either in Missouri or Illinois, if you're in Little Rock, Arkansas, if you're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, if you're in Kansas City, if you're in Peoria, like if you're in any of these areas, it is time to pay attention as another severe weather risk is on the way. Well, let's talk about this in a bit more detail. Here are those two tornado risks. You can see them right there. The hatched regions are where the possibility of EF2 plus tornadoes are very real. You'll notice there in the yellow, that's our level 3 out of 5, and our level 4 out of 5 there in the red. Let's talk about the wind threat. This is the most widespread one, the red being where the level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk is, the slight risk, the level 2 in the yellow, and the marginal risk, level 1 in the brown there. And that marginal risk stretching all the way from central Wisconsin all the way in to around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But in that enhanced risk, we have places like Fayetteville, Arkansas, St. Louis, Missouri, Columbia, Missouri, stretching up towards Springfield, Illinois, nearing Chicago, nearing Des Moines, all within that enhanced risk for strong winds. And finally, large hail is a real possibility there, stretching from around Jefferson City, Missouri, up to around Des Moines, Iowa, stretching towards the Iowa-Wisconsin border as well. And that hatched region is where a possibility of 2-inch in diameter or larger hail is a real threat. Well, let's talk about a second opinion here from a weather model. This one is very aggressive, especially on the hail threat in the northern mode. So if you're along the Missouri-Iowa border, this enhances confidence for large hail there. However, it should be noted that the Storm Prediction Center is the #1 authority for this. This just gives you a nice look at what a second opinion could look like. But again, you can see a more aggressive tornado threat, a more aggressive threat across the board from this model. So this is painting more of a worst-case scenario. I'm not quite bought in to it being this bad. Let's talk about another way of looking at things. We have discrete storms that will fire within the risk. You'll see this here midday. So watch that northern side of things there where that moderate risk was near Missouri and Iowa. You'll notice those first storms starting to fire. Storms in the southern mode will fire in the evening and overnight hours as that occurs, and you can notice that there right now. And then you'll notice that line of storms firing off, and that will move through both modes through the forecast period, making this a multi-wave event. That is for sure. So please make sure that you're watching the weather all day during the day, as an overnight severe threat is very real as well. As we head into the April 5th outlook here for Wednesday, a slight risk is in place with severe wind gusts and tornadoes appearing to be the primary threats. The risk covers a wide region including the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley, and categorical upgrades to a level 3 out of 5 at least are likely going to be needed by the time we get to the day of this severe weather event. Well, let's talk about the storm planning timeline here. If the forecast calls for severe weather, you should start planning. So if you're in the risk here, especially for Wednesday, that means you should make sure you have those emergency supplies, you know your safe places, and you have a communication plan. Now, the day before, so if you're in the risk tomorrow, you want to adjust your plans, make sure that you have multiple ways to get weather alerts, and ensure your shelter is clean and accessible. And the day of, that's for those in a risk today. Make sure that you have multiple ways to get weather alerts, as watches and warnings could be issued at any time. Remind your family of your plan, know how to evacuate and get to a safe place, and when a warning is issued, make sure that you're taking action fast. Tornadoes and severe weather in general can escalate quickly, so again, make sure that you have ways to get weather warnings in any time of day, especially for tomorrow with how dangerous this setup is looking. And when alerted to a tornado, quickly get to a storm shelter or basement, and if an underground shelter isn't available, get to an interior room, bathroom, closet works, away from windows. That's your best bet. Let's talk about sheltering guidelines in a bit more detail. Your best options are going to be the lowest level of a sturdy building in an interior room, and the worst options are going to be your mobile homes, vehicles, highways, overpasses, things of that nature. So make sure, again, that you can get to a sturdy shelter, especially tomorrow if you're in that moderate risk for tornadoes. Let's talk about the fire weather threat. We have a 2 out of 3 risk. That is a critical risk for fire weather here today and tomorrow. You can see they're very similar geographical regions that are impacted by this. So you'll notice there that local areas of extremely critical conditions are likely going to occur, with a delineation of extremely critical conditions possible for tomorrow's fire weather outlook, courtesy of the Storm Prediction Center. Regardless of risk, though, fuels and meteorological conditions are primed for fires to spread and grow out of control. So make sure that you're being extremely careful as this event unfolds, as fire weather could be just as big of a threat as the severe weather threat. So during a wildfire, you want to make sure you're following your evacuation instructions from your local emergency officials, and again, ensure that you have multiple ways to get that information today and tomorrow. All right, as we get into our big blizzard here, this is what to expect. We're going to have widespread heavy snow totaling over 1 foot in numerous regions there. So you'll notice our probabilities of over a foot of snow exceeding 70% over a very large region there, that's the orange, and over 90% there in the red. And then you'll notice on the bottom graphic, our winter storm severity index, numerous areas in major and extreme conditions. And I mean, there's even explicit mentioning from the Weather Prediction Center of the highest totals possibly exceeding 2 feet of snow in some areas given this winter weather event. Blizzard conditions are expected in the northern plains. That's strong winds and heavy snow, so whiteout conditions will make travel near impossible, with life-threatening cold especially a possibility as well for anyone stranded, as wind chills will fall to near or below zero in the northern side of the country, and damaging winds from the southwest to the midwest are likely, with widespread wind gusts in excess of 50 miles per hour being a real possibility. Let's take a look at that winter storm severity index now in more detail. You'll notice there that the big highlight there is eastern North Dakota, where blowing snow will be of extreme danger to those who travel. A major impact swath is there, stretching all the way from the Canada, North Dakota, and Minnesota border, stretching all the way well into the Rockies into the state of Utah. So if you are within the moderate, that's the orange region, or higher, you should expect significant disruptions to daily life. Let's talk about the official forecast. Over the next 2 days, you'll notice there in that more maroonish color that wide swath of over a foot of snow, with the higher elevations especially expecting over 2 feet. As we get into our second opinion there from the National Blend of Models, it's even more aggressive and goes out a bit farther. So this is 3 days out, and you'll notice there in the more mountainous regions, over 2, maybe even 3 feet of snow is a real possibility. And then as we do continue to move north, again, that wide swath of over a foot of snow expected in the northern plains, coupled with windy conditions. Here they are. Those are the winds that we're expecting over the next day or so. That's not when the most extreme are going to happen, but it's what we have available. Some areas, even within the plains, likely to have wind gusts exceeding 50 miles per hour by the end of the day today. Here's the National Blend of Models as we go through time here. And you'll notice our wind gusts rapidly increase as we head into the evening and overnight hours tonight in the Rockies, and then those wind gusts begin to increase in the plains tomorrow. So here they are, over 40 miles an hour in the pinks, over 50 in the reds, over 60 in the yellows, and you'll notice our wind gusts rapidly increasing within both our fire weather and winter weather regions, and well over 60 mile per hour wind gusts expected as we head through Wednesday and Thursday with this rather extreme blizzard that's expected to move through. Well, what do you do if you're caught outside in a winter storm? The first things first, you need to find shelter. If there's no shelter, you need to make sure that you have a snow cave or something to protect yourself with, and you need to build a fire. That's very important. You want to cover exposed body parts, and you want to melt snow for drinking water so you don't cool off your body temperature, and make sure you keep moving to ensure that you are as warm as you can be. Again, the two main goals: find shelter, keep yourself warm. Those are the best things to do. Well, I hope this video was useful to you. If you liked it, you can hit the like button. You can subscribe to this channel for more videos just like this one, and you can join our Discord server if you want to chat with myself and the rest of the Advective Weather team about the upcoming weather events. We are likely to go live tomorrow regarding the severe weather threat, and we're going to have another video coming out on all of this tomorrow as well. Thank you so much for watching. We hope to see you then.